Good morning. This is the Get Up and Go Breakfast Show. My name's Dave Burney.
I'm Brent Apperson. Good morning.
Brett just reminded me of something. He'll be going to track in Omaha.
Tomorrow.
You're leaving tomorrow? I thought maybe you'd go down tonight.
I thought about it, and then I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to spend the night in my own bed.
I don't blame you.
But, yeah, we'll be getting up super early in the morning to get down there.
Okay.
Mainly to get a parking spot. That's why I'm going to leave super early.
Oh, you'll be walking a ways.
I hope not.
Down at Burke, you just don't get that close, unfortunately. But I suppose it's changed some since they've got it going 4 days now.
Yeah, yes, I would agree with that. There's no question that the let's see, the crowd control or whatever you want to call it is much easier now that you've split the classes.
Yeah.
I think that all of us who remember state track from the past can always remember Championship Saturday, which was awesome, was it not?
Oh, it was full of color.
But it was all four classes on the same day at the same time. And boy, oh boy, there were a whole lot of people, as you can imagine, that would show up for that day. So, yeah, certainly being able to find a place to sit in the stands, easier for spectators, probably a place to park. And I'm fortunate I have this little badge that I'm given by the NSAA, which helps me out a little bit when it comes to parking. But even that is first come, first serve. So you don't want to get there too late. Otherwise, you're right. You're going to be walking a ways. But, yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Going to be a fun 4 days coming up.
Yep. The sponsorship, again, has been wonderful for our businesses, making sure that we can cover that when it's 4 days. That's 4 nights, or 3 nights.
3 nights.
3 nights in a motel or hotel, which they double up on when
yeah.
all of a sudden it's twice as expensive the last 2 days of the track meet. So
it's amazing how they know of certain events that are happening in Omaha. And the Big Ten baseball tournament is going on in Omaha this week as well.
Cha-ching.
So, yeah, cha-ching for people like that. Yeah, for sure.
Well, looking forward to that. And then Brent's going to take a little time off at the end of the month. So this will be the last show Brent mentioned that we'll be doing together for a while, and he seemed very thrilled about that.
Well, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move along.
No. Yeah, I guess I'll see you in June.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Guess so. All right. There was something else. Oh, when you get back.
Yes.
I'm going to, this week, or at the very latest this weekend, get some gourd seeds.
I was on the phone with Mom and Dad, and that's been Dad's question. What's happening with the gourds? You guys need to get those in the ground. You need to get going. You need to get to planting. So I was wondering if we were even still doing it.
Oh, yes,
but
we have
okay,
to.
so we're doing it.
We have to. We said we wanted to raise some money for the inclusive playground, so we've got to grow some gourds. And if you folks out there grow gourds and you want to donate some for our sale, you can do that as well. But we're going to try to grow some. So I know that Julie at Off Broadway was talking about growing some, and she's an expert. So we might get some people making some donations of gourds when the time comes. But we're going to try to grow them.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm all in. I'm
going to get some gourd seeds, round up some chicken wire and some posts, and we'll plan out here. That way we can have Jack do some reports.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
But we're gonna do it.
Okay.
And we've got to get started on it. Your dad's right. Although usually planning for the Bernies has always been on Memorial Day weekend. So
okay.
If I can get the seeds, I'll be out here spading up the buffalo grass back here. Or I'll find a spot.
Well, it kind of sounds like Brent sure picked a good time for his vacation.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss out on all the work.
Yeah, you'll be in a track meet that everybody wants to go to, and I'll be planning gourds.
Yeah.
It's all right. It all works out. All right, the Prairie Pioneer Center today. Let's see here. Today is the 20th already. My goodness. Meatball stroganoff, mashed potatoes, California blend veggies, and fruit. And you can call 872-6121 if you're not a regular customer. Let them know you're coming, or if you're bringing somebody, let them know. And you can also use that same number to set up home delivery with the Prairie Pioneer Center, who are celebrating this year, 45 years?
Yes. Yeah,
years.
I believe 45. Yep, they were recognized at the Chamber Banquet earlier this year.
Wow. And May is Older American Month, but this year they're flipping the switch on aging and having a party every week. And this week, on Thursday, Stephanie Graffel will be singing at the program that will follow the lunch, starting about 1 o'clock. She'll get those songbird, beautiful tunes going around the room. Thanks, Stephanie, for doing that. Appreciate that. Got this over here. Also wanted to remind you that today there's a blood drive at the Cozad Catholic Parish Hall from 11:30 until 5:30. Food pantry's open here in Broken Bow today at 1 o'clock till 3. Tomorrow, blood drive in Litchfield at the Community Center from noon until 6. And on Thursday, there's the Santa Cop Burger Bash at Grocery Cart from 4 until 7 p.m. Free will donation and burger, chips, and a drink, and raise some money for the Santa Cops program. And then on Friday, a blood drive at Nebraska Plastics in Cozad from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. And you can on Saturday, if you didn't get all your trees cleaned up in Broken Bow's cleanup day last Saturday, you can still take your trees up to the tree dump at no charge this Saturday.
All right.
Those are some of the things that we wanted to highlight. And we'll tell you a little bit later on. We want to remind you where you can register. Well, let's just do it right now. May the Beef Be With You promotion at KCNI KBBN will be giving away a deep freeze with a quarter of beef in it. And that's the grand prize. Second and third is delicious prime rib roast. I think they're about 8 pounds. And all the prizes will come with the local bearded hog barbecue seasonings. Where do you register? Here's your locations. Sargent Corner Market. Also, Chapin's Interiors and Square One Boutique here in Broken Bow. Evans Feed has a registration at Broken Bow and Oconto. Also in Broken Bow, the Garden Center, the Grocery Cart, Gateway Motors, RTA's Hardware. In Callaway, Agribest Feeds. In Arnold, A1 Auto Repair. Arcadia, Moshka's Building Center and Greenhouse. And in Ansley, you can register at Sun Valley Landscaping. Tomorrow we'll give you another chance to text in and register that way.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, let's play the game.
Here we go. Tumbleweed Day today.
Woo!
Let's see. Looks like this will be good for one free food item at Cracker Jack Sports Bar and Grill. So here's your question for today. Nate the Great. Oh, by the way, this is Mystery Month. If you missed it yesterday, May is Mystery Month. So these questions will kind of test your knowledge about some famous detectives who are featured in books. Here's your question. Nate the Great, a soft-boiled kid detective from a popular children's series, eats a favorite food when he needs to think out a case. What does he eat? Is it spinach, Doritos, pancakes, or broccoli? Nate the Great, a soft-boiled kid detective from a popular children's book series, eats a favorite food when he needs to think out a case. What does he eat? Is it spinach, Doritos, pancakes, or broccoli? If you know, call us at 872-2801.
You're listening to the Get Up and Go Breakfast Show with Dave and Brent.
Tumbleweed Cafe in Broken Bow offers delicious food in a family-friendly atmosphere. Open 6 until 4. Don't miss daily lunch specials and the Sunday buffet. Need a quick bite? Express breakfast is 6 to 11 Monday to Friday, and express lunch is 11 to 2. On the go, pick up a ready-to-go casserole for busy nights. For evening cravings, visit Cracker Jack Sports Bar and Grill. Open nightly from 5 to 10 with specials, appetizers, and snacks. It's all waiting for you on East Highway 2, Broken Bow.
We stumped him.
Uh-oh.
I think it was Doritos.
That would have been a good guess. Yeah, Nate the Great apparently eats pancakes.
Pancakes?
Yep, he eats pancakes when he's thinking on a case. And, by the way, if you want to eat a delicious pancake, I would encourage you to go to the Tumbleweed Cafe.
Yes,
There you
bet.
go.
That's for sure. Birthdays today. Let's see here. Dan Wilson, singer-songwriter, with Closing Time, the song he wrote for his band. And he also collaborates with Adele and the Chicks.
Oh, okay.
And he's 64 today. And let's see here. I had another one or two here. Bear with me. I'm not using paper. I'm using a computer, which is for me slower.
Yeah, you can't highlight anything on a computer screen.
No.
Well, I guess you could, but Dave and I don't know how to do that.
Mary Pope Osborne is 76 today. Children's book writer is best known for her award-winning Magic Treehouse series, which has been translated into more than 30 languages. And today is Cher's birthday.
Is it now?
Yes.
Oh, man. How old is Cher?
She is 79 today.
That was going to be my question. Is she 80 yet? So close. 79.
79 years young today. Doesn't look a day over 23.
Yeah,
or at least in areas. Right? Here's Cher and her first husband. Where Cher went on to solo career, which is pretty amazing, really. She's 79 today.
And I got you, Dave.
I got you. You got me. Cher, I think interesting because she's known for her extravagant outfits and her beauty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't think people would argue with that. But I always thought she had a really interesting voice as a singer and just her voice itself.
Mm-hmm. So
79. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, I was at a meeting the other day. Logan's here from Arrow Seed. How you doing, Logan?
Good.
I was at a meeting the other day, and they were describing. It was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And it was described about a project that was going on. That was a rebuilding project on a building. I won't say where. And they said, it's amazing. There's this gentleman in his 70s who's doing all the work on this. He's really very old.
Oh.
He's in his 70s.
Oh.
And I thought to myself, I was going to stand up and say, hey, that's enough of that. Stop it.
Dave's like, wait a minute, I'm in my 70s.
I know.
I don't feel old.
Hopefully this gentleman was pushing 80 and, maybe in
Yeah.
his late 70s. I'm early 70s, but it was like, he's either going to get the building done or, it'll be a miracle.
I know. Well, hey, I'll just shout out to my dad. He's 80 and he there's no way I can keep up with that man.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. Pretty awesome. We got a lot of people in this area
That
like that.
like to work at
Yeah.
80. Yeah,
Yep.
that's right. Logan,
And
how
work
you
hard.
doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Arrow Seed in Broken Bow. 100 years old. Man, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Arrow Seed is, not you.
No, I'm
No,
not.
Okay.
you're not. You're
Yeah.
not even
Okay.
close to 70.
No. No.
You're, I'm going to guess,
Oh, man, yeah. I don't know how old.
I
I'm going to say 31.
I was going to say
Ooh.
32.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. I'll take it.
Yeah? We're low?
You're low.
Oh. What? How old are
I
you?
was born in 88.
Oh, well, don't do that to me.
88.
Don't make me use math. The world.
And besides that, that was just yesterday.
Yeah.
88.
I'm 36.
36.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Got two youngsters.
Yeah.
36. Got a beautiful wife.
Yeah.
Wonderful family.
I did what they call marrying up.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys both know Jason Baum. over
Well,
at
of course.
Trotters.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he mentioned one day about, well, Dave, I think we both married up.
Yes.
Yep.
I could not argue with him.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm in that category.
Yeah.
I hear you.
That's a good thing when you're lucky enough to be in that situation.
It is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, do you have gourd seeds?
We do.
All
Nope.
right.
We do.
Variety?
The
Like,
bird.
Jen-
I can't say the
Oh,
word.
the birdhouse
gourds.
gourds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's what we're looking for, I think.
Yeah.
I think we've got those, and then maybe some. Well, I guess those are squash. We've got like the butternut squash and
Yeah.
the acorn squash and stuff.
Okay. I'll be by to pick up some of those cucumber hybrid seeds, and I'll pick up some gourd seeds.
Okay.
So don't need to reserve them for me. I'll stop by.
Okay. Yeah, I got a little chilly last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
39?
Is
that what I
is
heard?
that what it was? I
Yep.
know that the forecast was saying dip down into the high 30s.
Yeah.
So
That's ridiculous.
So if you're maybe thinking it's going to get cold again, we have a product called the Hot Cap,
Okay.
and
I
you
need
put it
those.
you put it over your plants to keep the frost and the cold off of them. They also kind of somewhat work in a pinch for hail.
Oh, kind of a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah.
Well, that might be
So
that might be why you get them.
Yep.
Really. 39 won't hurt too much, but hail will.
yeah, 39 doesn't hurt, but it's the hard hailstones that do.
Yeah. Well, and we were still getting info in on, I know that up north seems like they've been getting their fair share of hailstones and different pictures and reports and so forth. And pea-sized here the other night, which really didn't, I don't think hurt too much, but up north of us they've been getting punished. And some tornadoes in Nebraska again last night, and weather's going to be it's spring. We're going to
no.
Finally,
Yeah, finally.
Seems like it took long enough.
But what is it today? Look out, brushing your teeth, and you look out the window, and the trees are bent over and flopping back and forth.
It's wind.
Is anybody tired of the wind yet?
Yeah.
Man. And those little buffers might help with that as well.
Yeah.
Really.
Yep. And we also have like tomato cages and that type of stuff. Support stakes that you can tie your plants up to. So.
And those, you get the good cages too,
Yeah.
strong ones.
Yeah.
Because the weak ones don't do you a lot of good sometimes. So
No.
get the good ones at Arrow Seed.
Yep.
Really, this week, for those out there who like to plan on Memorial Day weekend, you'll have a lot of traffic in, I think. You've probably been busy, huh?
We have.
Yeah.
We have. It's garden season in full bloom, if you will.
Yep. Hopefully.
Yeah.
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 So, just curious, you love to plant, you love to eat what you plant. What are you planting this year?
So we got our garden in last week,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got corn, beets, beans, Brussels sprouts, onions, cucumbers, peppers, tomatoes, and butternut squash,
Ooh,
and watermelon and cantaloupe.
that's pretty good.
That's a good garden.
Good garden, yeah.
You know what they always say? Don't plant a garden that your wife cannot take care of.
Well, I have found out that you can actually grow tomatoes in weeds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm ashamed to say I'm supposed to be the guy taking care of the garden, and you do sometimes get behind on the garden. But I have to say, when you finally sit down and start weeding the garden, I really enjoy it. I think it's kind of therapeutic.
It can be.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of like, because you can see what you're getting done, and it looks
Right.
so much better afterwards, and it's just kind of fun.
I'll give you a hint. We have a product called Preen,
Preen.
and you can use it around your veggies to keep the weeds down.
Just spray it down there.
It's a powder, like a granular,
Oh, okay.
so keep that in mind.
I was going to ask you too, Logan Gerard. How about fertilizer for your garden? What kind of fertilizer do you put on it?
We've got a 10-10.
Triple 10.
Yep. So it's a 10-10-10. So it's an all-purpose.
And is that a
fertilizer.
granule?
Yeah.
And when do you put that on?
So usually what we do when we transplant our plants is we'll take a little, like a tablespoon of fertilizer and put it down in the hole when we transplant, and then just periodically throughout the growing season,
You just put them
just kind of sprinkle it
the
around
plant?
it. Yep.
Okay.
Or we also do tomato spikes,
Yeah.
which they're just a spike you push in the ground and it feeds it the whole time.
I think that might be a good idea too.
And we have those.
Okay.
Per se. I know a guy.
You know a guy
I know
there.
a guy. Yeah.
And of course, we aren't talking about it yet, but it won't be long that when plants started getting bigger, here comes some predators, some insects of all different kinds. So you can help us with that too, can't
Yeah. Yep. So we've got it's a insecticide called 7, and it's probably the most widely used garden plant insecticide.
Okay. All right.
And it works really well. It's a pretty broad spectrum insecticide.
All right. Moving over to yards, whatever amount of, we somewhere 1.5 to 2 inches of rainfall or more here in the area. The lawns look way different than they did last week, which is good to see because it was starting to get critical.
I don't know if you guys have also noticed it's a very good dandelion year.
It is, isn't
Yes.
it?
For whatever reason, they're rampant right now.
Yeah.
So you can spray them, get rid of them.
Yeah. But better yet, go to Arrow Seed this fall, and set up a plan to do the application this fall. You won't have so many next year.
Exactly. Yep. And you can tell the people that put something on last fall, yeah, there's still some dandelions, but they're not a carpet like some other places.
Yeah. There is a short period of time where dandelions are pretty.
Yeah.
And then they get the fluffy
Yep.
fly away and doesn't look as good. But
Yep.
yeah, that's available. We're mid-May now, a little past. What should we be putting on right now?
So there's still maybe just a little bit of time for a pre.
Okay.
So for your crabgrass preventer, then give it another couple weeks, and we'll be putting down just an organic nitrogen to kind of feed things,
Okay.
keep them going.
All right. Certainly not last and not least, the farmers and ranchers out there. I think most of the row crops are probably in. They had a good open window to do it, not fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if it's in and they got some of that rain, it should start going to town.
Yep.
What else would they be planting right now?
So you're kind of in the in-between time.
Okay.
It's a little bit late for your spring small grains, so your cereal crops, but it's a little bit too early for your summer annual crops. So you're kind of in that no man's land right now. But with this moisture, if you want to make the most of it, some of those marginal, not really great acres, get your millet, cane, sorghum, get that stuff booked so you have it.
So you have it.
Yep.
And then prep your soil later and
Yep.
and get it in there. And there's still a very good possibility that hay will be short this year.
Yeah.
Some of the stocks have been used up that have been set back for.
Yep. Had a glut
Yeah.
last year, and then the spigot turned off.
Yep.
Hasn't rained really since.
Since then,
Yep.
except just the other day. So.
Do you know how far back we are on moisture?
Well, we were just
Below.
talking. We need to go back and look at last year. I did that a while back, but just this year, we were just over 2 inches for this year, and now this 2 inches doubled it. So we're at 4.5 inches, let's say, for 2025. But you remember that the tail end, as you said,
It shut off.
It shut off, and it really didn't rain or snow
Yep.
much this winter. So it's been, we're in a drought,
Yeah.
So
Yep. I know last summer, late summer, early fall, it got really hot too.
it did. Windy,
Yep.
hot.
Windy and hot. Some of those fall calving calves were drinking evaporated milk.
Yeah.
They were. You're right. I did hear yesterday there was a talk about digging a hole for a post or a pole. And they said, "Oh my gosh, we dug a ways and we would put water in and let it soak a while, and we dug a ways. It's dry a long ways down."
Yep. And the 2 inches that we got, it did good, but I think a lot of it probably ran.
That's the
'Cause
sad
it
part.
came down so quick.
Yeah.
It didn't have a nice soaking rain. It was here and gone type of thing.
Yeah.
Then the wind that you can hear howling right now doesn't help matters.
It does not. So probably I noticed my neighbor was watering yesterday,
I did, yeah.
and I think that's a good
good.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that 2 inches did have run off quite a bit, and it did help a little bit. So now's a good time to water and stay caught up.
Mhm.
So
Yep. Keep that profile full.
yeah.
So keep your plants happy.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so. Just come on in and see what we got. We've got a lot. We don't have a lot of any one thing, but we have a lot of things.
You do. Seems like you know how to keep enough there for everybody.
Yep.
So
We are having a processing sale also, and it's really a pretty good time because I just got an email from LEM. That's where we get all the food processing stuff. That they're going to start increasing 25% across the board for dealers,
okay.
distributors. So there's no way we can make that work. So we're blowing it out.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, man, you hate to hear that, but that's going on in a lot of different areas. So
Until we get this tariff thing figured out, I guess, is that's the reason they gave for it. But as we know from COVID, things went up and never came down.
Yeah. And the tariff talk is not consistent, so it makes it really tough.
Right, it does. But come on and get your stuff at a steep discount.
All right, Logan. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. It's news time. right after these messages.
The Get Up and Go Breakfast Show.
It's the best start to my day.
Power Solutions is your one-stop diesel shop. Efficient and reliable work you can count on. From fixing major breakdowns to simple repairs or picking up parts needed. Power Solutions is here to keep your diesel pickups and trucks on the road. From in-house repairs to field calls, they are here supporting our local area. Power Solutions, located 2 miles east of Broken Bow, Nebraska on Highway 2. 308-872-5522.
The right approach to care makes all the difference. And at Broken Bow Dental, that means staying true to the values that matter most to this community. Dr. Casey McLeod and her team build lasting relationships, knowing every patient by name. She also listens, making certain your treatment is the right fit. And with advanced technology, the team at Broken Bow Dental streamlines care, completing procedures in fewer visits so you can get back to what matters most. Located right off Highway 2 in Broken Bow, Dr. McLeod's practice is now accepting patients. Better, brighter, Broken Bow Dental.
You are listening to the Get Up and Go Breakfast Show. Go, go, go! On KCNI, KBBN, Broken Bow, Nebraska.
CBS News Brief. More tornadoes ripped through the nation's midsection yesterday. At least 4 confirmed in Nebraska and in Oklahoma.
Well, the wind started blowing real hard. And it was probably 75 to 80 miles per hour. And me and my girlfriend, we got back in the house.
More severe weather is forecast. 4 days after that mass jailbreak in Louisiana, 6 inmates are still at large.
Officials believe those still on the run may be relying on the help of family and friends. Family members of their victims are now in fear for their own lives.
CBS's Naomi Ruckham reporting. And President Trump's attempts to seal a peace deal in Ukraine getting a tentative thumbs up from America's somewhat sidelined European allies. Here's NATO's Secretary General Mark Rutte.
Clearly, the American administration is very much involved, closely coordinating with European colleagues and of course, Ukraine, and I think that is very positive.
CBS News Brief. I'm Vicki Barker.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. 783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Here's a look at Nebraska news. In a story released by KSMB, North Road is closed from Westgate Road to Highway 30 as the construction project on the Highway 30 continues. The project will expand Highway 30 from 2 to 4 lanes from Grand Island to Alda and has been in the works for 20 years, although the project began in the summer of 2024. North Road will be closed between the Highway 30 and Westgate Road, including Strauss Road. Werner Construction of Hastings is the contractor for the project. The contractor will remove the existing North Road, where the highway will be realigned with the new 4-lane divided highway. North Road will be closed for up to 60 days during the construction of the intersection, weather permitting. Drivers are asked to use an alternate route during the construction of the new pavement. Traffic will be maintained on North Road with temporary traffic control barricades and signs. Drivers are asked to use caution in and near work zones, buckle up, and to put phones down. This has been a Nebraska News Update. I'm Jack Simpson reporting for Central Nebraska's news source.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles,
Here's Steve DeSager.
The Philadelphia Eagles gave Coach Nick Sirianni a contract extension. He's made the playoffs all 4 years as a head coach, including last season's Super Bowl win. The 49ers gave linebacker Fred Warner a 3-year extension worth almost $57 million guaranteed. In the WNBA, Seattle a 79-71 winner at Dallas. The NBA has the Western Conference Finals start Tuesday night as Oklahoma City hosts Minnesota. In the NHL, Florida is in the East Finals starting Tuesday against Carolina. To Major League Baseball, the Reds won their 5th straight game. They were up 2-1 at Pittsburgh after 7 innings. 7-1 Reds the final. Victories for St. Louis and Houston. Miami scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th to edge the Cubs 8-7. Seattle sent the White Sox to a 5th straight loss 5-1. Milwaukee sent the Orioles to a 7th straight loss 5-4. Arizona beat the Dodgers. Kansas City won at San Francisco.
Here's your weatherology forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Cloudy skies expected. Today, daytime highs approaching 59. Winds out of the northwest, 20 to 30 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies. Tonight, lows dip down to about 39. Slight chance for showers. Tomorrow, highs around 67, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki.
Varney Pharmacy in Broken Bow is honored to offer a nice selection of memorials for decorating the graves of your loved ones this Memorial Day. Plus, this week, they are marked at 20% off. Their selection includes flags, stones, and garden stakes. Swing in and view the variety for yourself. A reminder, Varney Pharmacy will be closed on Memorial Day, so please plan ahead for your prescriptions. Wishing you a safe Memorial Day weekend, Varney Pharmacy in Broken Bow.
Lines Appliance in Broken Bow prides themselves on being a local connection to the very latest in appliance technology. They also have some of the best grills on the market and the best looking TVs too. Visit Lines Appliance in Broken Bow.
8:07, and Jack just stuck his head in the door here and said, "My mic is dead." So there's Doc Jacobson is here from Click Family Healthcare. If his mic is dead, there's nothing you can do for it, Doc. It's already gone. So.
I was
test. Is mine dead?
I was just going to say we're in luck. We have a doctor in the house. Let's have him work on the microphone.
So
electronics are not my forte.
Really?
I'll say that right up front.
Well, I think all we have to do here is put a battery in. Maybe.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I'm going to take another quick time out and see if Jack gets a battery in so he can tell us what it really feels like outside. He's got 90 seconds to change the batteries. If he doesn't get it done, then we'll just do the currents. Looks like he's going outside now. So we'll get Jack on in just a moment.
Make us part of your morning routine.
Just really great music, and you guys are fun and active and lively and just a good station.
Central Nebraska wakes up with Dave and Brent on The Breakfast Show.
Do you have a laundry list of projects to do around your home? Refresh your space by completing the list of home improvement projects with the help of a HELOC from Burning Bank. If an updated look is not enough and you're ready to buy a new home, we can help with that too. Navigating a home purchase can be confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let our friendly, experienced staff guide you to owning the home of your dreams. You can apply in person, online at burningbank.com, or give us a call at 308-872-2757 to get you started. Burning Bank, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 473773, member FDIC.
When severe weather occurs, the outcomes can be devastating. Ranky understands cleaning up and returning to normal can be a long process. The trained personnel at Central Nebraska Diesel are ready to assist you in getting your irrigation system back in running order. With a variety of services available, equipment, and repair parts, Central Nebraska Diesel can provide the help you need. Working together with Central Nebraska Diesel and Ranky will ensure your irrigation needs are met. Contact Central Nebraska Diesel, your local Ranky dealer, and see what they can do for you.
Hey, this is Andrew from Rise Rehab and Performance. It's that time of year we want to get out and enjoy the nice weather. Walking, running, yard work, gardening. Whatever the case, that increased activity unfortunately means some of us are going to have some troubles. Foot pain, hip pain, low back pain, hopefully not all of it. But at Rise Rehab and Performance, we're set up to help you out. We can get you back active and enjoying this nice weather. So come visit us on West Highway 2 or call us at 872-5800.
All right, 10 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. Let's go outside now and find out what it really feels like with Jack Simpson. Jack, what's it feel like out
Well,
there?
with this wind, it is pretty chilly outside. We got winds out of the west from 15 to 25 miles per hour. I'd say gusts up to 42 degrees, sunny skies. Winds, I already said the winds. Barometric pressure 29.72, humidity 81%. No rain in the last 24 hours. The precipitation for this month 2 inches and 46 hundredths. High yesterday of 72, overnight low of 39. Sunrise today was at 6:14 and sunset today 8:55.
All right, thank you.
You're
We are
welcome.
Running a little behind now. Would you go back and check on the birds?
Yes, I was.
Make sure. You can just report back to us. Also, any snake sightings, we'd appreciate.
I have not seen any snake sightings yet. Your hole that you dug up is still patched up. I don't see any other holes in the ground, and the birds are there.
Okay. Thank you,
Good.
Jack.
You're welcome.
That's hard. That's a hard act to follow.
It's hard news.
Yeah, keeping Central Nebraska informed. Doc, that is our motto.
Well, it was just nice to hear him say moisture for the month.
Yes.
That was the nice thing.
Doubled that in a big, big hurry. Well, 2 inches and 46 hundredths, and 2 inches of that came just the other night. So, yeah. That's dry down in Kearney as well?
It has been, yeah. I mean, it was just looking at actually your guys' Facebook when you posted the precipitation all around. Just a nice general rain.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it came hard a little bit, but at least everybody got a little bit of moisture.
Yeah, everybody was smiling yesterday. So
yeah, last Friday when I went home, there were tons of pivots going. Just guys trying to get things up. Actually, I have a farmer customer that they said they've run one of their pivots around 3 times already.
Gee, Merry Christmas.
So, ran it before they planted, and they've ran it twice after they planted. So, it's going to be a tough year if we don't get more rain with the price of corn where it is.
Yeah, it kind of increases your inputs when your pivot's already been around 3 times, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of, it's kind of one of the things I talk about with our customers now is, when we're young, we talk about our health in dollars and cents. As we get older, we start talking about our health in suffering. And that's kind of, it's kind of the way farming is a lot of times that we're young, we don't think about things. We go out and buy new equipment. And then as we get older, we sometimes corn market turns the wrong way and then we're suffering, trying to struggle. And, right now, mental health's a big issue, especially in rural America.
I'm glad you brought that up because you just hear more and more about it, but I think we need more and more people to address it professionally as well. I think we're short on help there, aren't we?
Definitely. In Kearney, there's one psychiatrist.
One in the whole
town. In the town of Kearney. There are getting to be more and more and more therapists, and there's getting to be more mid-levels that are able to prescribe medications. But as far as that one person that can really guide the ship, there's one in Kearney, and that makes it hard.
Doc, I'm curious what your thoughts are on the reason for the need for more professionals for mental health. Is it because we're diagnosing it, we understand it more, or is it the trend of our society, or a combination? Or
I think it's a combination. I think one, it's not quite the stigma that it used to be because people are talking about it. And I think that's one of the reasons rural America, farmers have a higher suicide rate, is because it's still hard for somebody, especially a male, to admit that there is something wrong. And I talk about with our customers that mental health's no different than diabetes. It's an illness, and so let's treat it. Let's get you the expert help we need. 2, I think just our society as a whole. I think from a political landscape, I think from a financial landscape, from an inflation standpoint, from a social media standpoint. I think a lot of times people get on social media, especially when they get a little bit older, and now we start comparing what we have to people don't put their crap on social media. They don't put their real when they're down in the dumps, when things are going tough. All they put on there is, oh, look how great things are.
Yeah.
And I think that gives people a sense that they're not whole, they're not as good, because, well, why can't I do that? And I think it's affecting our young people. And as our young people are coming up, getting older, it's going to be a perpetual problem moving forward that's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
I just was reading this morning about on social media, it went viral. I don't know if it was on TikTok or what, but this adult decided that she was going to try to break herself of her phone. So rather than just put it away and, put it in the pocket or put it in the car and not use it, she has a fake phone that doesn't work, so that she can kind of like, I guess, a cigarette, that habit is having that cigarette in your hand. It's kind of the same thing, I think. And so it's gone viral. People are going, at first they thought it was this new model of phone and they were getting excited about it. Then they realized it was like a pacifier to get that person through maybe not using that as much. I don't know if that makes sense.
My dad chewed for years. He carried an empty Skull can for a year in his pocket.
Yeah.
And when he got the urge, he would take it out, put the lid back on, put it back in his pocket. So different people handle different addictions differently.
Yeah.
The hardest part a lot of times is recognize that we have an addiction.
Of any kind.
Of any kind, whether it's phones, whether it's alcohol, whatever. And so she admitted that she had a problem. How she went about it, I think that's one of the issues with social media is who cares?
I'm with you there,
who
Doc.
cares that you went out and bought a toy phone?
Yeah.
That's should be a personal thing that you want to better yourself. Who cares?
Yeah. Do it.
But people gravitate to that, and people, again, that's where they start comparing themselves. And, well, gosh, she can do it. Why can't I do it? Or, whatever. Look how successful they are. Why I'm not successful. And I think that's just compounding, the mental health issue. And unfortunately, once you hit the peak of mental health and the boulder starts running downhill, it's a lot of times hard to get it stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And you need help. One of the things I always tell my patients is, one, I'm not a pill pusher. I'm a big believer in therapy. Just to try to figure out what that root problem is, what's the cause, and then, if we need to add medicine, we can, but let's address that root cause first.
So how much effect does mental health, you see, cause health problems, physical health problems?
Well, I think we see it more than we probably recognize that it's from that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's, I'm getting poor sleep because I can't shut my mind off. So I'm always chronically tired. Once you get sleep deprived, I always say, molehills become mountains. So little things that are a big deal, all of a sudden now they're a big deal, which then adds more to our emotions. If you're not sleeping, you start seeing things like heart disease increased stress increases cortisol levels, increase insulin production. Increased insulin production leads to obesity. So all of these things just kind of compound. And a lot of times we don't recognize it. Well, stress is the key. That's the starting point. We want to address something in the middle. And I always try to look back at what's the root cause. And that's when I am talking with our patients. And, the beauty of our models, we have the time we can do that, is what do you think's going on?
Mm-hmm.
When did this start? What was the trigger? And a lot of times they know the answer, but they don't know the answer until they stop and somebody asks them, think about this. What do you think brought this about? There's three spectrums, I think, in healthcare. You have the mental, you have the physical, and you have the spiritual. And they have to be all somewhat aligned for us to be at our best. And if the mental's off, I'm not going to take my medicine, or I'm not going to exercise. Physically, I'm going to get worse. If the spiritual's off, same thing. If the physical's off, same thing for the other two. So trying to to match those all up and figure out what's that trigger that's throwing the one off, so we can balance it out, so that we can get the other two lined up a little bit and feel better. And not that you may not feel like you were 20 years ago, but at least you're motivated, you're able to get out of bed, you're getting good sleep, you're starting to exercise, you're eating healthier. Because if we're depressed, we either eat everything in the house or we don't eat anything. Well, if we're eating everything in the house, we're eating junk. And our food industry, as we've talked before, is, to me, that's the biggest epidemic, pandemic, whatever demic you want to call it, is our food supply and our food production and all the chemicals that we have.
Yeah, you've talked about that, and there's more and more people agree with you on that, by the way.
Well, I think I think there's getting to be more recognition about that. One thing I just wanted to mention, if you can put a garden in, raise your own vegetables, raise your own produce. Make sure you're putting some chicken manure, cow manure, pig manure, because as those animals eat grains, they poop out selenium and zinc and manganese, those micronutrients that our body needs in order to absorb the vitamins that you're hopefully getting from the fruit or the vegetables. So those are the things that, I heard a lady last night say, I try to eat like my grandma ate.
Yeah.
Because that's whole food back then.
Yeah.
I think about my grandpa, lived on the farm. They ate bread, meat, potatoes 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And he lived to be 85, 90. My grandma was 100 and a little over 100 when she passed away. Get uncles that were in their 90s and 100s. So I'm not sold that cholesterol's the biggest killer, for a lot of people. There's more to it, I think, than just cholesterol when it comes to heart disease. What is that? Well, is it stress? Is it chemicals in our food supply? How does all that tie together? And that's one of the interesting things about being a physician is and with our model, I have time. I can do some research on that. I can do more reading than I ever used to be able to do, which is good and it's bad.
Yeah, I bet.
Because that's not what I learned, but it makes a lot of sense.
It's counter to what what you learn in medicine.
Well, when you talk about Western medicine versus Eastern medicine, a lot of the supplements that we carry, a lot of people don't believe in those, and I was right there with them until I saw them work in me and in our team.
Yeah.
So it's I can't fault anybody except the system of how we train physicians. I talk all the time. I never had a nutrition class in med school or residency. Well, how am I supposed to be able to talk to people about nutrition?
That would be
nice.
It would be nice.
But then you think about, well, why is that? Well, I had a lot of hours of pharmacology, learning how to prescribe drugs and what they do. Maybe we ought to look at the funding of medical schools.
Yeah.
Where's that money come from? And I think you'll find a lot of it comes from big pharma.
I bet it does.
So those are the things that we all just need to be a little inquisitive and intuitive about. And, hopefully we'll get some changes made at the federal level, the food pyramid. Why do we have grains and processed foods at the bottom, at the base? They should be at the top. Our fruits, vegetables, whole food should be at the bottom.
Doc, it's that all makes sense. It's also very confusing out there right now. All of a sudden, we see news where states are not going to use fluoride anymore in their water. Something I think that has been proven to, for the dental side to be a positive at least. And I think there's so much. Back to social media again. There's so many different crazy stories out there. The good stories, the real facts get lost.
Right.
And,
I was thinking about this the other day. I have a good friend of mine who's a physician up in South Dakota, who's 87 years old, did some studies back in the 98, 99, early 2000s. And he said, you can't find those studies anymore. He said, they're buried so deep by big pharma studies that you can't find the research. The research is out there on different common everyday ingredients or things that we use that are beneficial for X, Y, and Z, but you can't find them. So that's the counterintuitive. It's like when COVID hit, people asked me, should I get the shot? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there was so much, both sides of the fence, you didn't know what to believe. I have young moms, ask me, should I vaccinate my kids? Well, I believe in vaccinations. I'm not sure why we give a hepatitis B to a baby when they're in the hospital, because you typically get hepatitis B with IV drug use or sexual activity. So I'm not sure why we're doing that. Why can't we do that later in life?
Yeah.
So, but I've never seen Haemophilus influenza B. When our kids were little, they kind of came out with that, and Uncle Lawrence said kids be in the hospital with that, dying. Well, I've never seen that. I've never seen mumps. I've never seen measles. I've never seen the polio.
Yeah.
Because we vaccinate. Well, now we have a measles outbreak across the U.S.
Yeah.
So that's things are coming back that we had essentially eradicated. And those medicines, I don't care what medicine you take, all medicines can have a side effect, but they've been around long enough that we know that the chance of having an adverse reaction is very, very small. On the flip side, if you get on social media and you listen to the anti-vaxxers, we're seeing an increase in autism because you give your kid an MMR at 18 months. Well, that's when we diagnose autism. So how about we look at our food supply and see what mom ate when she was pregnant, what we're feeding the kids because of autism, ADD, ADHD, pediatric cancers, pancreatic cancers in adults. Those are exploding in the last 10 to 15 years. Well, that sure the hell isn't from the vaccine.
Yeah.
There's something else.
Yeah, there's something else.
Well, let's look at what else there is.
Well,
why are young girls, when I was in school, 11, 12-year-olds, when they started their periods, 7 and 8-year-olds now.
Yeah.
So what's in the environment that's changed? What's in our food? A lot of plastics have estrogenic compounds in them. So they eat, they drink, they're stored in stuff, they get more estrogen. Now they start their cycle sooner. So there's all these questions out there, and unfortunately there's not a source that you can trust, because a lot of the sources that are talking about this, people say, oh, they're quacks. They're not mainstream. We're not going to listen to them. And you have the AAP, you have the AMA, you have all these societies that are saying, oh, they're quacks. Well, now we kind of look at COVID, and a lot of those so-called quacks were right. And so that's the quandary, I think, as a citizen, as a consumer, and as a physician. It's like, where do I get my literature? Where do I get my guidance from?
Yeah.
And that's frustrating.
It's difficult. It really is. But one of the things that you can offer and you call them customers or clients, is a conversation about the mental health aspect of it, the physical aspect of it. Am I taking pills maybe that I don't need, or I do need to change the pills I'm taking, or my diet? You can have these long conversations because you take the time to do it.
Right. The way the model is set up, with people paying me every month, I don't have to rely on somebody walking in the door, that, oh, this is an acute visit. We really try to focus more on the preventative side of things. Now, we've always said, well, we just draw your blood to make sure you don't have something we think we're preventing it. Well, we find out you have high blood pressure, you have high cholesterol. You already got it. Yeah. We haven't prevented anything. So let's go back, even as a society, as a government, let's start funding preventative training, because if you look at healthcare costs of the U.S. versus the other 19 countries we always get compared to, up to about 55, 56, it's a really tight band as far as money spent. But at 55, we go straight up where the other countries are very flat. And what they're finding is that's when the U.S., when we're getting diagnosed with our first chronic disease. Joint replacement, heart attack, stroke, diabetes. So once you get diagnosed, now you're in the specialty world. There's nothing I can do as your family physician. Where other countries spend so much on preventative stuff that they don't see that. So one of the general rules, like when I was in Omaha, we talked about was, in America, for every primary care visit, there's an average of 6 to 8 specialty visits. In the other countries, for every specialty visit, there's 6 to 8 primary care visits. So it's flipped as far as when we're talking about preventative stuff. As exercising for kids, why are we feeding our kids high carb meals? I mean, you look at the menu at our schools, some of the worst food you can feed a kid when it comes to spiking sugar, spiking insulin, leading to obesity. So there's all these things out there that, unfortunately, I'm not going to save the world, and you're not going to save the world. But we try to change our own little world. People say, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. How do we change our community? One person at a time that we can try to educate and help, because that's all I am. I'm an educator. Doctors say they're not salesmen. I'm selling my knowledge. That's really what people buy from me. And having the time to be able to sit down and be able to talk about these things, we're able to provide more knowledge for our customers.
Click Family Health Care right here in Broken Bow, and you also, of course, started in Kearney, and you're up here how many days a week, Doc?
Typically 4 half days.
4 half days.
Yeah. And for a little slow, I might only come 2 half days, but now that we've hired Rachel, our PA, she's been with us just shy of 3 months, I'll probably be spending more time up here just talking to more businesses about the services we offer that they can offer their employees, and just be a little bit more involved.
All right. Right near the pharmacies on Highway 21. And
yeah, when we remodeled that building, I told my wife we need to get an attorney to rent a space from us, because I had the pharmacies across the street. I got the mortician to the west. I just need somebody to protect me. But anyway, what we have is we have 2 mental health clinics that rent space from us, which I'm proud they're there. I'm happy they're there.
Yeah.
Because they're busy. They are really busy.
Well, so that's good for them, and a signal for society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Always enjoy it, talking to you.
And we enjoy coming here.
All right. We'll take a timeout. I think we have more guests in the lobby. Stay tuned.
Are you or someone you know struggling with depression, anxiety, trauma, or other mental health challenges? Do you wonder where you can get help and support locally? An online list is ready and available for you that includes local, trained, caring mental health providers. Visit mhpcc.org. Mental health providers and services available in Custer County can be found quickly and easily at mhpcc.org.
When it comes to a stroke, a quick response is critical. A stroke is always a medical emergency. If you're concerned someone may be having a stroke, Melham Medical Center wants you to remember the Be Fast acronym. B for balance issues, E for eye problems, then FAST, F for drooping features, A for arm or leg weakness, S for speech difficulty, and T for time. Time is of the essence. Visit our website at melham.org to learn more about how we can help you stay healthy, active, and strong.
Remember the time you used to spend fighting weeds and bugs? Now you can spend that time elsewhere, because aerial application is your best advantage against these problems. Let Aero Aviation take control.
When you need a helping hand to get the most from your land, Aero Aviation, let us take control.
For over 50 years, Aero Aviation has been serving the area. Contact Casey to schedule your aerial application this spring.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Mark Stock with Big Iron Auction Company, and today we have some land selling in Reno County, Kansas, 227 acres. We'll start to close here at 11 o'clock, and then at 12 o'clock noon, we have a feeder steer and feeder heifer auction on Big Iron. There's 90 head of 885-pound Red Angus feeder steers that will sell. They've been a background lot here by Cedar Rapids, Nebraska. They got Arnold, Nebraska origin. There's also 180 head of 845-pound Black Angus heifers. These will be Brockle, Shar-Cross, and Red Angus heifers. They're by Stapleton, Nebraska. And then there's 211 head of 845-pound heifers. These are Black and Baldy Cross, Black Shar-Cross, and Red Baldy heifers. They are also located at a backgrounding lot here by Cedar Rapids, Nebraska. You have time to contact the owners or the Big Iron Livestock rep. Their name and number are listed right along with the description of the animals that will sell. They've got a great pedigree, folks, and a lot of information. Please check out Big Iron as that livestock sells at noon today. Then tomorrow on Wednesday, May the 21st, over 1,137 items will sell from over 121 different sellers from 15 different states. They include Nebraska, Kansas, South Dakota, Iowa, Arkansas, Illinois. There's equipment that will sell in Oklahoma, Wyoming, Colorado, North Dakota, Missouri, Minnesota, New Mexico, Texas, and Wisconsin. And these sellers say they like using Big Iron because they like to represent their equipment. They're proud of what they have. They like to talk to the bidders and the buyers. And they want that transaction to be a good, smooth, honest representation of what they have. Now, some of the sellers include Bill's Volume Sales from Lexington, Nebraska. They have a couple feed trucks. Frank's Implement Company in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. They have a four-wheel drive John Deere tractor. They have several big square balers that are selling and some self-propelled windrowers. Taylor Implement Company, they have some of these honeybee draper heads that are selling 2022 models. In fact, there's 4 of them selling. They're match sets. John Mumm is retiring from Alexandria, Nebraska. They've got a pair of John Deere S690 combines selling, plus some heads and other quality items. Keith Kroll is retiring from Harold, South Dakota. They have late model New Holland windrowers, round balers, and a really nice selection of livestock equipment. We have equipment selling for Tuttle Farms in Kansas. The John Lloyd Anderson Estate Sale will take place in Presho, South Dakota. They have 49 items featuring hay equipment and livestock feeding equipment. A few of the headliner pieces, including a 2014 John Deere 8345 RT track tractor selling out of Lake Village, Arkansas. There's a 2010 John Deere 8320R mechanical front tractor that is selling out of Liberty, Nebraska. A 2016 Cat D6T XW dozer with a ripper. A very big machine selling out of Pavilon, Wyoming. There's a XCMG 210 excavator with a hydraulic thumb selling out of Alexandria, Nebraska. A Caterpillar 613C self-propelled elevating scraper selling out of Greensburg, Kansas. There's dump trucks selling. Here's one selling in Park City, Kansas, an International 7400. There's a 2014 Peterbilt 386 semi-truck selling out of Melvin, Iowa. A Case IH 5500 soybean special drill selling out of Aberdeen, South Dakota. A big Kenworth T370 tandem axle truck with a feed box on the back will sell on this sale by Lexington. So if you're looking for planting equipment, tillage equipment, fertilizer and chemical application equipment, alfalfa equipment, it's all being sold tomorrow here on the Big Iron website. Now, we've had some rain that has come through the area here, and we have people now looking for grass. So if you were fortunate enough to get a good shot of rain and you've got some availability with some pasture land, please call me at 402-276-2077. We have a handful of folks that have some cow-calf pairs looking for a good place to run them here throughout the summer months. So my phone number is 402-276-2077. Now, we're also listing machinery and land that will sell in August and September. And we have several retirement sales that are being scheduled right now for November and December. The key to a successful auction is plenty of preparation and advance notice. So if you are planning on retiring this year, pick up that phone and give us a call here at 402-276-2077, and we'll schedule a time to meet. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great week.
In the morning, you are awakened by the twitter of a little bird.
No, it's Dave and Brent.
I knew there was a reason I got out of bed this morning.
The Get Up and Go Breakfast Show on KCNI KBBN.
Need gear for the softball and baseball diamond? Geared for Sports in Broken Bow has all kinds of equipment and shoes for the season. What Scott doesn't have in store, he can try to find for you. Geared for Sports has competitive pricing, so there's no need to go out of town or search the web. Find it right on the square in Broken Bow. There's a reason it's called Geared for Sports. They're prepared to gear you up for whatever sport you play. Visit them soon in Broken Bow. Geared for Sports.
May is Beef Month. And we're celebrating big. Win a quarter of beef, a 7 cubic foot freezer, and 3 bold bearded hog barbecue seasonings in our grand prize giveaway. Second and third place snag an 8-pound prime rib and savory steer seasoning. Register all May at participating local businesses or by tuning in to The Breakfast Show. Get full contest details at sandhillsexpress.com. Don't wait. Beef up your chances to win today.
It is 20 minutes before the hour, and the rest of this time, before we get to the top of the hour, is going to be dedicated to Nebraska Land Days, the 61st annual. And we have Bob Lantis with us, who is now coordinator and director and the guy that believes now that something doesn't run downhill, it runs uphill, right?
Yeah, it just moves forward, and I'm not sure if it's uphill, downhill, but it moves. Yeah, great to be here. Good morning.
Good to have you. Let's talk about the Nebraska Land Days itself, and I think every year we've talked with you guys about this. We realize it's so much more than just the music shows, right? And so, can you kind of?
Yeah, so sometimes people forget that it's a family-oriented celebration, right? There's so many family activities that you could literally come for 10 straight days and find something for you and your family to do. There's a ton of food events. And so, yes, I think people forget, sometimes that there's more to it than just 2 nights of country music concerts, although that's a pretty neat part of it.
Yeah.
But there's 4 really great nights of PRCA rodeo. According to the PRCA now, we're the biggest PRCA rodeo in the state of Nebraska, and that's according to purse money. So we kind of took the leap this year in planning the rodeo and decided to go to $10,000 added money for the purse per event. So that's kind of what took us to the top. And of course, that's what you have to do in order to draw some of the best named cowboys and get them to actually show up to your rodeo, right? And so we're trying to, spruce up the rodeo just a little bit. But yeah, there's a ton, that 10 days, if you look at that calendar, you can find something to do for 10 straight days. And that's what I want people to think of, when we talk about Nebraska Land Day, is it's not just 2 nights of country music concerts.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of the grand finale of it all, really.
It is, yeah.
Now, Brent, you've probably been Nebraska Land Days more than I have.
Been there a few times.
And you've probably taken the family there over the years, and yourself and Shelley. I remember that you have some favorites along the way. It usually has something to do with food.
Yes. Yeah, I don't. I was trying to look through this was several years ago, but we always went to the big pork breakfast. I don't know if that's still going
Good news.
on.
I got great news
is it
for
back?
you. If you look at Saturday.
All right.
Concert Saturday, June 28th.
Yes.
There it is.
At
there
7 a.m.
Yes.
to 10 a.m., we've got the pork breakfast back at the
Nice.
First United Methodist Church. So we found a group of folks in North Platte. It's the Lincoln County 4-H UNL Extension Office. They came to us and they thought, hey, we can make this work. And like, okay, if there's a better group of people than a 4-H organization and a university extension organization that can take a pork breakfast and make it happen, it's them. So we're really excited to have that back this year. So yes, albeit it's a different weekend, but it does take some pressure off of Parade Saturday.
Yeah.
There's so many things to do on Parade Saturday, and that's the first Saturday celebration, the 21st. That they kind of picked that second weekend on purpose just because there's not as much to do during the day on that second weekend. And if you can catch, because there's as many people in town for the concerts as there is, probably for the whole celebration. And if you can encourage some people that went out and enjoyed a Friday night concert to wake up, come down and have a pork chop for breakfast.
Oh, man, that sounds so good.
See? So, yeah, there was quite a little bit of thought, put into that. But, yeah, we're excited to have that back.
Good.
So, yep.
You talked about, since we're kind of on this subject, people stepping up. There are so many events that take place during Nebraska Land Days. You have to have people put on those events and step up to the plate. You talked about increasing the purse money. I'm sure that comes from sponsorship a lot.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the way you get sponsorship for Nebraska Land Days, and then just the volunteer help that comes on board to make this huge event possible.
Yeah, both of those, both from a sponsorship standpoint and a volunteer standpoint, are very integral part to our celebration. Sponsors to Nebraska Land Days, and I'm so grateful to our sponsors and partners, because truly, without their sponsorship support, we wouldn't be able to put on a celebration, right? So it's everybody. It's from the platinums all the way down to the sustaining members. You're right. This year for the rodeo to cover the added purse money, we had to go out, and we're doing a cool thing with the arena where instead of hanging individuals banners on the fence, we're going to wrap the arena.
Oh, wow.
And so what we did is we went out and sold logo spots on that wrap. Okay. So it is, but we added quite a few new sponsors to the rodeo, right? And people in our community in the state of Nebraska are just so supportive of our organization and what we're trying to do. You know, literally, it was not that tough to do to go out and find 22 spots to sell logos. You know, it was farms, it was ranches, it was businesses, seed corn companies, co-ops. It was just, you know, it didn't take very long to come up with that added extra money. So we're really grateful to those folks. Like I said, all right, we couldn't do it without our sponsors, and that's one of the things of this job that I'm so thankful for, is that I get to deal with those folks, because they really are. They're great people, and they're so supportive of our organization. And yeah, the volunteers. So most of the other events on our schedule are what we call affiliate events, right? We don't really have much to do with them. There's a group or, you know, an organization that puts those events on, and so we help advertise them and promote them. But there's just a ton of people in our community that step up every year for Nebraska Land Days, and help, you know, put on events. Or, you know, we got a couple service organizations that come out and take tickets for us, you know, for rodeo and concerts. And so, yeah, I couldn't ask for better volunteers in our community, and those people, like I say, we couldn't do it without them.
I think the pride factor motivates that to a certain degree. That's just my opinion, because the Nebraska Land Days has been going on for 60 years, and it highlights this part of the state of Nebraska. Now, there's always something going on in Lincoln and Omaha, let's face it, and people are drawn to the east end of the state. So nice to have something out here that says, hey, look, here we are. This is what we got going out here. Come and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
Nebraska Land Days actually is the official state celebration.
Yeah.
We kind of forget that. The rodeo started in Lincoln. But it really is, you know, and it's just a great fit for Western Nebraska.
Right.
I mean, I've grown up here most all of my life, and I would tell you that there's some of the greatest people in Western Nebraska. It's just a great place to live. But, you know, we love having people from all over the state of Nebraska, right? It's so fun, you know, to have people come up to you and be like, hey, we drove all the way from Wayne, America, just to, you know, come see Luke Bryan or whatever. You know, that stuff. People are driving 5-6 hours from Northeast Nebraska just to come to Nebraska Land Days. Or in Lincoln and Omaha. We get a lot of people from Lincoln and Omaha, and we're very grateful for those folks. And yeah, we even, you know, we draw a lot of folks from out of state. And so we're on the map. I mean, for sure. And you know, historically, gosh, if you'd have been in our arena for Jelly Roll last year, we had about 12,000 people packed in that arena. And it was it was a great show. I mean, there was smiles, there were tears of joy. It was an unbelievable night. And so those are the types of experiences people remember. And, we're proud to say, hey, we can make that happen in North Platte, Nebraska. So,
yeah, as an organizer, and you're heading this up with all these volunteers you're talking about, that's got to be, you've experienced it already. The lights go down, the spotlight comes up, and all of a sudden that arena turns into a concert hall.
Yeah.
And people have all those emotions you're talking about, and experience Western Nebraska and North Platte, and the parade and all the different things that go along with that. Family fun, affordable fun for, in most cases, a lot of places they can just walk into.
Yeah.
So it's quite an event.
It is. And I would tell you, there's a payoff to it. And my board of directors, who put in a ton of their volunteer time to put this on, they would tell you that's the payoff. When you get to that Friday and Saturday night, we talked about the concerts being kind of the finale, but that is the payoff, because it is a ton of work. So right now, the board's coming in every Saturday to get the facility ready to go. We've done a ton of projects over the spring, but you find satisfaction in all the hard work once you get to those last 2 nights, and you see the fans, and you see the smiles, and you see the tears, and it does. That's where it comes. I mean, that's the payoff.
So it all starts on Sunday, June 15th, which isn't too awfully far away, as you mentioned when you came in here.
Yeah.
And we probably won't go through all of the events here, but I have to ask you about the Sweet Saloon. What is the Sweet Saloon?
Uh-huh. If you've ever had a really, really great cinnamon roll. So the Sweet Saloon, it's put on by the Mid-Plains Community College sports program. And so every morning, they make these cinnamon rolls, and you can buy them. And I don't eat a lot of cinnamon rolls, but I would eat one of those. They're really great.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just one of those things that literally you can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. Right then and there.
Right then and there.
Well, they're listed here, and I needed to ask you about that. But you have the horsemanship, the MRN horsemanship, barbecue and raffle on that first Sunday.
Yeah.
Speech competition, style show on Monday the 16th. All going down through here, the activities on the 17th. You have a competitive art show and quilt show, and of course, Buffalo Bill history brings people in from, as you say, all over the country, if not the world.
Yeah.
So.
You talk about that competitive art show. That's probably one of the things that it's been a big staple of Nebraska Land Days, and if you would come down to the Prairie Arts Center during that competitive art show and see some of the artwork, it will blow your mind. It's some of the best in the country. I'd promise you that. But yeah, so just as the calendar falls, so you talk about early that week, rodeos start June 18th, which oddly enough, last year the celebrations start as early as it could have in the month of June. This year we're the complete opposite. We're as late as we can be.
Yeah.
So that it's a little bit of a change from last year, but yeah. So you get the rodeo starting on the 18th. There's the golf classic on the 17th, and then once rodeos start, that's kind of when you get in the thick of it, And then you have 4 straight days of just nonstop activities throughout the day. Of course, Saturday. June 21st is the parade, starting at 1 p.m. And so that's a big deal. That's about a 2-hour parade.
That's a big one, isn't it?
Now here, since you brought up the parade, I want to know, when does the first chair get set out to reserve their spot for the parade? I swear sometimes it's a week ahead of time. I'm serious about this. I mean, it is crazy on parade day to come into North Platte, say 8 o'clock in the morning when the parade's at 1, and already people are getting their spot set.
So I would tell you that, yes, the city of North Platte has kind of had to make some ordinances that you couldn't put up a chair
Yeah.
if it was city property. Now there's some of that private property along the parade route that people will set up on Friday.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a known thing that if somebody's got some chairs set up, you just don't mess with them. You just set up the next available space. And but yeah, that's a deal. I mean, people do. They
love
take
the
our
parade.
parade very serious, and it's a big parade, and we're super proud of that. And but yeah, that's just one of those things. It's kind of a tradition, It's there's been people doing that for 50 years, setting up lawn chairs on Friday afternoon. So it just continues. But yeah, that's Saturday. And then of course Saturday night rodeos, and there's other events sprinkled in there. There's lots of kids events. That week there's a kiddie parade and some things like that. And then you move into the next week, which we get about a little bit of a break on that Monday. There's family night at the arena on Monday. And then we do some other things leading in. There's taps and tunes that following week. There's cowboy kickball, kids fun fest. So, I mean, you get a little bit of a break. Maybe that second week isn't as busy, but by Thursday when the stage rolls in, we're busy. Yeah. I mean, it takes all day on Thursday to get everything set up, and then Friday morning you're just walking around putting all the final touches on the arena and making sure everything's ready to go, and then here we go. One thing that I do want to mention, one change from the past is we did bump the rodeo start time up to 7:30. Forever, probably for 60 years, it's been at 8 p.m. Yeah. And that was one thing that we thought we had enough time to kind of just bump that up. It just seemed a little bit more fitting to bump it up. It doesn't go into the night as long. Usually that's about a 2.5 hour event. And so if we can get that over just a little bit earlier, it allows people to spend a little bit more time in the pavilions for the after rodeo dances and that type of thing. So yeah, I just want to make sure everybody knows we moved up the rodeo half hour.
Yeah. Is Randy announcing?
Randy Corlia's back.
All
Absolutely.
right, man.
I
show up just to listen to Randy. I'm serious. He's one of the best.
And I love Randy, and even since I was a kid, I wouldn't know any Buffalo Bill rodeo different than having Randy. But he also, back this year again, he's kind of taken a guy named Garrison Allen under his wing. Great young guy, great voice, and he's trying to get him kind of introduced into the rodeo announcing scene. And Garrison's a great guy, and they were here last year, and he's coming back again this year. So, yeah, that's one of those staples we probably just couldn't do without. If Randy told us he was leaving, I'm not sure I'd let him go.
I don't blame you. But when you see Randy, tell him Dave at KCNI says hi, because he trained me in that other room over there. My first time on the air, he helped me get on the air for the first time in my career.
That's awesome.
And then also tell him he needs to come and fix this fence that he built. Because he repaired and put a gate in and did some fence work for the owner at the time. And tell him it's really needing some work.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
You have a specialty act for the rodeo this year? Sometimes you bring in one of those. I didn't know.
Yeah, John Harrison is the specialty act. Great guy, entertainment-wise. I mean, he'll be as funny as what we've traditionally had in the past. But yeah, that's part of the rodeo, so we'll have the specialty act. And of course, that's kind of for rodeo. And there is some bullfighters that come along, but yeah, he's the main act for the rodeo.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's take a little news break. We got a little late start with you, Bob, and then we want to concentrate on the concerts.
Yeah.
And then I got to ask you about this pickleball thing. I mean, there's a lot of pickleball going on, or will be going on. We'll find out more about that right after this quick news break. Stay tuned.
You You are listening to the Get Up and Go Breakfast Show. Go, go, go! On KCNI, KBBN, Broken Bow, Nebraska.
CBS News Brief. More tornadoes ripped through the nation's midsection yesterday. At least 4 confirmed in Nebraska and in Oklahoma.
Well, the wind started blowing real hard, and it was probably 75 to 80 miles per hour. And me and my girlfriend, we got back in the house.
More severe weather is forecast. 4 days after that mass jailbreak in Louisiana, 6 inmates are still at large.
Officials believe those still on the run may be relying on the help of family and friends. Family members of their victims are now in fear for their own lives.
CBS's Naomi Ruckham reporting. And President Trump's attempts to seal a peace deal in Ukraine getting a tentative thumbs up from America's somewhat sidelined European allies. Here's NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte.
Clearly, the American administration is very much involved, closely coordinating with European colleagues and of course Ukraine, and I think that is very positive.
CBS News Brief. I'm Vicki Barker.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. 783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Steve DeSager.
The Philadelphia Eagles gave Coach Nick Sirianni a contract extension. He's made the playoffs all 4 years as a head coach, including last season's Super Bowl win. The 49ers gave linebacker Fred Warner a 3-year extension worth almost $57 million guaranteed. In the WNBA, Seattle a 79-71 winner at Dallas. The NBA has the Western Conference Finals start Tuesday night as Oklahoma City hosts Minnesota. In the NHL, Florida is in the East Finals starting Tuesday against Carolina. To Major League Baseball, the Reds won their 5th straight game. They were up 2-1 at Pittsburgh after 7 innings. 7-1 Reds the final. Victories for St. Louis and Houston. Miami scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th to edge the Cubs 8-7. Seattle sent the White Sox to a 5th straight loss 5-1. Milwaukee sent the Orioles to a 7th straight loss 5-4. Arizona beat the Dodgers. Kansas City won at San Francisco.
Here's your weatherology forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Cloudy skies expected. Today, daytime highs approaching 59. Winds out of the northwest, 20 to 30 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies. Tonight, lows dip down to about 39. Slight chance for showers. Tomorrow, highs around 67, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki.
Designed with pride, sold with integrity. That's Palmer Monument in Broken Bow. Their staff is trained to assist you in the decision-making process. You'll know you're getting a result built from the very best workmanship and the highest quality of materials at Palmer Monument, Broken Bow.
9:03, 46 degrees outside. We'll call it partly cloudy and windy out there. It's been windy all morning long, 15 to 25 out of the west-northwest this morning. Yesterday's high was 72, and we dipped down to 39 overnight. Currently, again, 46 under a partly cloudy sky. And we have Bob Landis with us from Nebraska Land Days, and enjoying the conversation, Bob, a lot. I like the idea that we can talk about the events and then also talk about all the different things that go into putting the show on. We appreciate you taking time to talk about that.
Certainly.
Now let's talk pickleball real quick. On the sheet here, there's a lot of pickleball going on.
So again, that's a new event this year.
Okay.
Right? We had our local pickleball club in North Platte. They wanted to do it last year, and it was kind of just late enough in the game we couldn't make everything come together. But this year, the city of North Platte redid our pickleball courts, or we had some tennis courts that they kind of repurposed and made them into pickleball courts. So we have this now very large pickleball facility in our middle of our city park. And so they're like, we want to do a pickleball tournament. We're like, hey, you guys run with it. This sounds like a deal. And I actually think that might be one of the biggest events.
Really?
Yeah.
It's very popular right now.
It is very popular. Yeah. But yeah, that's starts on a Thursday and goes through Sunday, I believe. But yeah, I actually think they have a professional pickleball player.
Wow.
Coming in for that tournament. Now, I don't know that person is playing, but as an ambassador for the sport, I think they're coming in just. But yeah, I really think that pickleball, and I'll be honest, I don't play pickleball.
We don't either, but
yeah, look at us. We don't do much in the way of athletic competition.
I you say that, but I see all kinds of people can play
true.
pickleball.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you've got and they have categories set up for men, women, singles, multi-generation.
Yeah.
They've got juniors. So there's a category for somebody.
Yeah. I really, like I said, I think that's going to be a huge event and great addition to the celebration this year. So we're really excited about that pickleball tournament. So yeah, we're looking forward to that.
All right. The grand finale, as we mentioned, is the music show. Looks like you've got another winner this year. You guys have been bringing in quite the artists that are at the top of their game, and no exception this time. So let's talk about the artists and how they can get tickets out there.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Viero Summer Jam Concert Series kicks off on Friday, June 27th with Luke Bryan. And opening for Luke is Ashley Cook and Baker Blankenship. And so those are, everybody knows who Luke Bryan is, right? Like you can't turn on a TV and not see Luke Bryan on TV somewhere. He's got his own episode that streams on some streaming networks. He's on music contestant shows.
Yeah, he just wrapped up American Idol.
Yeah,
I think.
So
yeah,
he's everywhere. So that guy. If you don't know who Luke Bryan is, maybe it's time to crawl out of underneath the rock you've been living under. But no, so we're super excited to have Luke. We couldn't be any luckier to have that type of talent. And of course, Ashley Cook. She had a really great 2024. Super great young talented lady, and Baker Blankenship's kind of this guy that came out with a hit song and called Maxed Out, and all of a sudden he had to kind of promote himself on social media through TikTok, and that's kind of the trend that some of these younger artists are the path that they're taking. But couldn't be more excited to have those folks opening up for Luke on Friday, June 27th, and then Night 2, Saturday, June 28th. Of course, we got Bailey Zimmerman, and Bailey right now, new up-and-coming guy that's as hot right now and has got as many singles out there. There's just some really great music. So we're excited to have him. Of course, Cooper Allen's opening up for him, and then a gal named Angie Kay. Cooper Allen recently, if you find these social media posts by Cooper, he does all these mashups of 25 different songs and puts them all into one song, and it just makes sense. It's so funny to watch Cooper Allen do those things, but we're super excited. And then Angie Kay, kind of a Latin American twist on country music. You'll find her music pretty entertaining. It's traditional country music, but it's got some Latin American lyrics to it, and so we're excited to have her too. So so the Viero Summer Jam Concert Series again is going to be kind of the bar that we've set for Nebraska Land Days the last several years, and so we're super excited about that. And there's still plenty of tickets for sale, and we would encourage people to go to NebraskaLandDays.com and buy their tickets. Just last week, I seen a Facebook post of a third-party ticket vendor, and I'm not gonna say who it was, But they were selling our Golden Circle ticket that you can buy from us for Luke Bryan for $251. They were selling it for over $1,000.
Gosh.
Okay. So don't get caught up in those schemes. Go to our website, call our office. You know, that's just the only way. One, you're going to get the best price ticket because it's an all-in. We don't hide fees from you. When I say a Golden Circle for Luke Bryan is $251, when you hit checkout, boom, it's going to cost you $251. General admission, $91, right? So those tickets are very affordable. If you find them online somewhere other than NebraskaLandDays.com, I promise you're going to pay more.
Yeah. And not know for sure where you're going to end up.
Well, and honestly, we don't know that those tickets will get you in our front gates.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we scan every ticket that comes through our front gates. And if it says invalid, guess what? We can't let you in. So, yeah, that's the only way that we can guarantee folks. Go to our website, call our office, buy your tickets from us. That's the one way we can guarantee to get you in our front gates.
Okay. And again, that's Viero Wireless sponsors that and have for a while, I think. So
yeah, they have, and they're great partners. I just had supper last week with those folks. They came to town, and they're great folks to work with, and they're super supportive of our community and our celebration, and couldn't be more thankful for Viero.
June 27th and 28th, the grand finale, but starting the 15th of June, you can go have family fun. You can eat pork chops for breakfast.
There you go.
You can play pickleball. You can take the whole family to events and go to the Sweet Saloon, and the list goes on and on.
Yeah, you could have pancakes, prime rib sandwiches, pulled pork sandwiches, you name it.
Yeah.
You can have about anything that you're craving. So
go ahead.
I was just going to say, on tickets, I want to go back to the rodeo just real quick. Rodeo tickets, can they just go to can you get those online too?
Yeah. All of our tickets for our rodeo and concerts can be purchased on our website, NebraskaLandDays.com. It's going to be the first thing that you see. It says buy tickets here. Okay, so yeah, rodeo tickets are available. Still got plenty of reserved grandstand seating for rodeo. So if you like rodeo, now's the time. And we talked about it, how fast time goes.
Yeah.
29 days until the celebration starts. You just as well buy your tickets now, plan a little bit ahead of time, and come over to North Platte and enjoy some fun.
Yeah. Well, great invitation and a great event. Nebraska Land Days, 61st annual. Thank you, Bob Landis, for coming in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Got a little Luke lined up for you to close out this segment here on the Get Up and Go Breakfast Show.
Sunday morning, man, she woke up fighting mad.
It pours. That's actually Luke Combs, who Brent tells me a previous performer at
a couple of years ago or so. I believe he was in North Platte. Yeah. They've had some big names over the years.
Huge. Last year was no little show either. Kelly Rolled and all the people they had.
I remember I was working on the railroad, and I was out working and got to listen to about the entire Brad Paisley concert.
Lucky you.
Way back when Brad was there, so that was kind of fun.
I bet it was.
I could hear it real well.
Well, we'll get some Luke Bryan up for you in just a moment, kind of get you in the mood to buy some of those tickets. And again, all you have to do, let me get my little folder here, go to get the tickets, NebraskaLandDays.com. There's also a number you can call, but I would think online would be the way to go get those tickets. And again, as Bob mentioned, no reason to use another vendor who may or may not be on the up side of things for you. Just use that address, go online and get your tickets. They're priced right. These days, that sounds like a pretty reasonable price to see somebody that has been as big in the show business as Luke Bryan. So,
Yep.
And again, thank you to Bob Landis for coming in. A lot of fun, always talking about Nebraska Land Days. We have quite a few things we are going to be telling you about before we close the show today. And one of those is Ansley Public Schools seeking a qualified and motivated individual to serve as the Maintenance Transportation Director. Now, this is a full-time, year-round position that plays a vital role in overseeing daily operations of their facility and transportation services. And they are going to ask, if you are hired, to have you help ensure a safe and efficient and welcoming environment for all students and staff. They're also looking for a dependable and motivated school custodian to help them maintain a clean, safe, and welcoming environment for their students and staff. If interested in these positions, call Kim Jonas at 308-935-1121 or download a copy of the application from their webpage, which is Ansley Public Schools. Make that ansleypublicschool.org.
Here's another job opportunity, and again, you can find all of these opportunities posted on sandhillsexpress.com. Just go to the employment page. The Nebraska Department of Transportation has an exceptional opportunity for a highway maintenance worker to join their team in Broken Bow and Ansley. At the NDOT, they reward their employees' hard work with a friendly and supportive work environment that encourages creativity and innovation. They provide training and career development, advancement opportunities, ample paid time off, work-life balance, and a comprehensive benefits package. Now, to apply, you got to go online. So go to this website. Go to statejobs.nebraska.gov. An online state application must be completed. The state of Nebraska is an equal opportunity veterans preference employer.
Bass Enterprises, Teresa Bass and Addie Joe Martin are excited to announce they have moved. You'll find them now at 2021 Southeast Street on Highway 2 in the Pearson Building, just east of the Maple Park Dental. So be patient with them. They're working on putting things together, but they are there, and they offer health supplemental such as dental, vision, accident, cancer, and disability. Medicare with all your major carriers, life insurance from term to whole insurance. And if you're heading out on vacation, it's that time of year, check with them on travel insurance. If your own medical insurance doesn't cover you in another country, travel insurances do. So ask Bass Enterprises about your options before you leave the country. It's quick, easy, and simple to sign up for. Stop by and see them at 2021 Southeast Street in the Pearson Building, just east of Maple Park Dental. You can also call them at 308-870-1485.
Do you struggle with your hearing and or worry about missing out on conversations with family and friends at gatherings? Well, if so, stop in to see Roxanne with the Nebraska Land Hearing Center. She can help, also offering extended discounts for new and returning patients for just staying local. Pricing available to fit all budgets. So make your appointment today. Call 308-384-3852, 308-384-3852 for the Nebraska Land Hearing Center. You will find their office in downtown Broken Bow in the Broken Bow Chamber Building.
Thanks, Brent. All right. June 27th, Nebraska Land Days. Luke Bryan will be playing along with Ashley Cook and Baker Blankenship. And as mentioned, on June 28th, Bailey Zimmerman, Cooper Allen, and Angie Kay will be performing. And get your tickets now at nebraskalanddays.com. Here's Luke Bryan with one of Brent's favorites.
Yeah, hunting and fishing and loving every day.
Sounds good. Hunting, fishing, and loving every day. Chapin's wait a minute. It's not Wednesday.
Well, no, it's not. But
Lola,
today's the day.
You've gone a little nutty again.
They're
it's
mixing
not
it up.
Wednesday, but Lola wants to get the word out earlier this week. Get in now for your red, white, and blue from Square One Boutique and be ready for Memorial Day. All red, white, and blue apparel, 20% off. And this will continue through the week and weekend. They will be closed on Monday, Memorial Day. So get in now. Starting today, all red, white, and blue apparel is 20% off. Also, they'd like to do a big shout-out to their granddaughter, Marin, and her teammates headed to the state track meet. Run, Marin, run, it says. I bet they're very proud.
Yeah, Marin will be busy. Yeah, she'll be in the Open 400 and in 2 relays.
Well, then Marin is as crazy as Grandma.
Yeah,
if she's running the 400, she's that's a brutal race. Chapin's and Square One Boutique, south side of the square in Broken Bow.
All right. Boy, we talk about this on numerous occasions. I think everybody understands how important child care is and having child care providers in the area. So this is exciting news. Kylie Warner has over 15 years in a caretaker position and has had a licensed daycare for 3 years, and she is returning to Ansley to continue her daycare with a date to open set as July 7th. She'll be taking kids ages 6 weeks up to 13 years old and does accept state pay. And it says here they will be open 24/7 except for holidays, and those are outlined in the handbook. Right now, she is taking applications for kids and will set up an interview with the families. Now, Kylie is CPR and first aid certified, goes above and beyond recommended class hours in early childhood education. She also participates in the food program. She plans on putting in a community garden that the kids will be very hands-on with. Her goal is to be very involved in the community and school, attending things that are open to the public, including regular visits to the local library. So that's just a little bit about Ready, Set, Grow childcare. To find out more, make sure you contact Kylie, and here's the number, 308-212-2837. Contact that number for more information or check out her Facebook page, Ready, Set, Grow Childcare. She has all 5-star reviews from prior and current families. So let me give you the phone number one more time, 308-212-2837.
24 hours. That is something. That will really help those folks out there who are working a night shift somewhere. So check that out. All right, now we had the citywide cleanup in Broken Bow last weekend, and there was lots of things that were gathered and disposed of, and that was great. There were some things that you couldn't take in, and we have an alternative idea here for that. Household hazardous waste collection at the Lexington Area Solid Waste Agency. The Nebraska Department of Environment and Energy's Waste Reduction and Recycling Incentive Grant programs are dedicated local volunteers to bring this free service to you on Saturday, May 31st. This will take place from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Lexington Area Solid Waste Agency at 76460 Highway 21, Lexington. They'll accept yard and garden chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, flammables, paints and thinners, auto products, used oil, antifreeze, household products and cleaning chemicals, mercury and batteries, those auto batteries, and lead, acid, and or rechargeable batteries, and nickel, halide, and fluorescent light bulbs, titanium batteries as well. They will not take infectious waste and needles, radioactive waste, asbestos, oil or paint containing PCBs, and high school labs, appliances, construction waste, or tires, and no computers. If you have any more questions about that, you can call them at 507-837-2068 or 308-324-3351, and they'll answer your questions. This is Saturday, May 31st, 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. at the Lexington Area Solid Waste Agency.
They continue to provide some exciting opportunities for you at the Wild Rose Gallery in Broken Bow. And here's the latest they have coming up. It's a new fun activity for anyone 12 years of age and over. Join them to make, and I'm just going to spell out this word because I have no idea how to pronounce it. So come make a FIMO. Or you want to take a shot at it? I don't know.
I didn't know
FIMO?
the other day either.
I don't know. FIMO is how you spell it. Clay jewelry and treasure box. All supplies provided, and you'll leave with a nice gift or treasure for yourself. So sign up now. This will be held on Saturday, May 24th. It'll go from 1 until 4. The cost is $40 for the class. It's at the Wild Rose Gallery, so call to reserve your spot today. And here's the number, 872-2632. That's 872-2632. Sign up now. It'll take place on Saturday, May 24th from 1 until 4.
We'll be back to close the show, but first these words.
The right approach to care makes all the difference. And at Broken Bow Dental, that means staying true to the values that matter most to this community. Dr. Casey McLeod and her team build lasting relationships, knowing every patient by name. She also listens, making certain your treatment is the right fit. And with advanced technology, the team at Broken Bow Dental streamlines care, completing procedures in fewer visits so you can get back to what matters most. Located right off Highway 2 in Broken Bow, Dr. McLeod's practice is now accepting patients. Better, brighter, Broken Bow Dental.
Visit the Secret Garden every day in May for gorgeous annuals, succulents, and vegetable plants as well to get your garden started. They'll even plant your pots for you. Make sure you remember them for when you need sympathy and memorial gifts, and shop online anytime at thesecretgardenonline.com. Open every day in May, Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 4:30, Saturdays 8:30 to 4:30, and Sundays 1 to 4. The Secret Garden, just west of Myrna on Highway 92 and a half a mile north.
This is April Good, proud to be with Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers. We guarantee you the very best exposure in marketing your property, averaging over 40,000 visitors per month to our website. This market is hot, but if you want a premium for your farm, ranch, or recreational land, you need your property to be able to be found by investors and buyers. If you are thinking about selling, call me, April Good, for a free market analysis, and check us out at lashleyland.com.
It is 9:34, running a little over time today, but that's okay. We had some great interviews that we really enjoyed bringing you today. And also want to say good morning to Juan, who said good morning and then complimented us on the interview with Dr. Jacobson. So thank you, Juan. Appreciate that. Well, Brent, this is about it for us for a while. You're going to go down to Omaha, down to the big city.
I will. I'll be there.
Go through Startown and then get down there to Omaha.
Yep. I might avoid Startown. I like taking the highway to Omaha.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll just go alongside it, right?
Well, kind of, yeah. I'll go Wahoo.
You're going 92.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm with you there.
Yep.
To go right into Dodge then?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then go to 120th and turn off and go to Burke.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. You're going to find coverage like you're not going to find within any other radio station. Brent Apperson will be trackside. He'll be watching the athletes. And when he possibly can, he'll talk to the athletes, but he'll have all the results for you. I couldn't snap. Do it with my right. There. Just like that. Because he's right there, and he's not waiting for, not sitting back here looking at the computer. You're trackside.
Yeah, and sometimes the opportunity, we usually have an opportunity, maybe even catch a race as it's going on. I know last year, if I remember correctly, I know we watched Coy Wardine in the pole vault and watched him clear, I think it was 14.6. We called that, which was kind of fun on the air. And I think that we were live on the air when Justin Folkers of Twin Loop cleared what ended up being the winning height in the boys' high jump. So, you never know what we're going to be able to just kind of bring to you live when we're actually there. So we'll plan to do some of that. So hard to get free, find kids.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully the timing will land right, and we'll be able to talk to maybe at least a couple of kids during the course of the 4 days. So we always try to do that too.
Well, it does take a lot of great sponsors to be able to be there 4 days and cover it like that. So thank you, sponsors, in advance, and you'll be hearing from those. How many reports an hour do you predict you'll be making?
Well, we'll be on at the top of every hour. For Wednesday, tomorrow when our coverage starts, we'll probably pick it up in the 11 o'clock hour.
Okay.
Since obviously for us, just a lot less kids to follow in classes A and B, because obviously we don't have anyone within our coverage area in Class A. So our focus will be Broken Bow certainly on Wednesday and Thursday. And we like to keep track of Gothenburg and Cozad kids, and we'll give you some results of them too. So we'll do hourly reports probably Wednesday and Thursday. If we need to, we'll come on and do some at the bottom of the hour too, but kind of top of the hour. And then on Friday and Saturday, we just have so many kids to cover. So it'll be top of the hour. Friday, it'll kind of depend on what's happening back here as far as how soon we'll get on. Certainly we'll be on at 11 o'clock, but we might try to do one or two before that if time allows. Saturday, we start at 9 o'clock. We'll start our first report at 9 when the field events start, and then we'll be on with you through the entire day at the top of every hour, and sometimes later in the afternoon we start going bottom of the hour too on Saturday. So
okay. Well, just keep listening to KBBN 95.3 FM or online at kbbn.com. You'll get the audio there, and you can get that anywhere you go on your phone or your device. And, yeah, you got it covered. We'll get it covered. And it's going to be fun to see how the young athletes do.
Yep.
All right, folks, that's it for today. Jack Simpson is standing by on KCNI to ramp up the country. I've got some great music from John Mellencamp, Tom Petty, and the Rides coming up over here. Keep it right here.
Can I do one quick thing before we wrap up? We've been talking about track. District golf was yesterday. We had about a handful of area kids qualify for the Boys State Golf Championships, which will be next week. So congratulations to them. You can check out the story on sandhillsexpress.com.
All right, partner. Thanks.
All right.